All right, thanks for joining us on the TechCast from Astoria. You know, Windows 11's here, whether you like it or not. And I've had quite the opportunity to take a look at Windows 11. We haven't started working with it mainstream at this point, but it's going to be here. Now, operationally, Windows 11 is not that much different from Windows 10. Windows 10 has had some of these features already. However, Windows 11 is going to take us to the next generation of the Windows operating system. And this is what you need to know for Windows 11. Number one, it's going to be here, and whether we like it or not. So Windows 11, if you're not sure your particular computer is compatible for Windows 11, there's a Windows 11 compatibility checker. We'll put the link in the bottom of this video, available on any one of our platforms where you're watching the TechCast today. However, if your computer is compatible with Windows 11, great, congratulations. You can do a straight update to Windows 11 via the Windows 10 update generator, okay? You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to buy anything. It's just taken care of. If you're one of our managed clients, we can do that for you. And we're going to start implementing Windows 11 over the next couple of weeks and next couple of months, depending on what that is needed for your organization. Now, if you aren't a managed client, you want to do this yourself, you can use the Windows compatibility checker yourself. But stop. Let's think about that for a minute. If you say, maybe it comes back and it says my Windows 10 edition is not ready, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to throw your hardware out. There's a couple of things we're going to talk about TPM chips in this episode and what that means for you. Okay, so let's run down the list here real quick. Number one, you just need a 1 gigahertz processor. If you don't have that, I don't know how you're running Windows 10 today. Okay, at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. Again, if you don't have 4 gigabytes of RAM, I don't know how you're running Windows 10. I don't want to have your computer. Okay. You want to have the system firmware updated and make sure you can use the UEFI firmware. And this is really important and something that should have probably been implemented on your system in Windows 10, the UEFI. You shouldn't be using the legacy boot options. Most of the BIOSes have been updated to this. Here on the TechCast, we're going to get a little bit more technical. If this doesn't make a lot of sense to you, don't worry. You can fast forward through this. Just know that we really need to have the UEFI running on your Windows 10 system for you to be able to implement the new firmware and the new options for Windows 11. And you should have been doing it in the first place. We've been implementing this for a couple of years already. It's already in place. Legacy is gone. It's over. There might be some use cases for you to have some legacy software or operating systems running. That's unique. But for the mainstream, we need to have UEFI. Other than that, we can talk special use cases all day long. So, TPM chips, I mentioned this earlier, trusted platform modules. This is where your encryption key is going to be stored. Windows is taking control of the TPM chip. You're going to take this over, and you need to make sure you have a TPM chip. This is where I said before, if it doesn't say your operating system is compatible with the TPM chip, that doesn't necessarily mean that you couldn't put Windows 11 on the hardware. But there's a couple of things that we could check. First, you might be able to update your firmware to TPM compatible firmware. And then secondly, you may be able to install a TPM chip. Now, I say may as a key thing. Not all hardware is going to be compatible with TPM firmware or a TPM chip. So that's something you need to research yourself. Work with your IT service provider like us here at Astoria so we can help you get your hardware ready for Windows 11, okay? So making sure your display is up to date, some better displays. A lot of the things that come with Windows 11 have already been implemented in Windows 10, so it's going to be a relatively easier changeover to it. Now, when we get to the panelists today, we're going to be talking to them a little bit about Windows 11 and why it's better and why we need to go to it. And this is really, if you're going to have good cybersecurity implemented in your environment, Windows 11 is really the way to go. Now, the interface has changed a little bit. I personally like it a little bit better. I think it's going to be easier for you to be find what you're looking for. And I think those who are maybe used to using Mac, you're going to celebrate because the interface is a little bit more similar to Mac. And I think that's what Windows is really trying to go with, is try to incorporate those users who like the interface and the ease of the Mac interface. However, they want Windows, or they need Windows. And I think that's really what Windows has been missing for a very long time, is sometimes the ease of access and finding things within their operating system. They did that a little bit better in Windows 10, and now Windows 11 is probably getting that there. Of course, nothing's perfect. There's going to be bugs along the way. There's already bugs here, but to get us to a more secure environment, this is what Windows 11 is going to do for us. And one of the things I'm really particularly excited about is that Windows 11 eventually is going to allow the launching of some Android apps, which I think is really, really important. So finally, that Android world that I like to use and the Windows world that I like to use will finally come together. We'll be able to use both of them in the same space, which is really cool. Maybe special productivity apps, maybe special gaming. Those types of things will all be available now from the Windows Store. So some exciting things coming in bringing those two things together, and as those two worlds start colliding a little bit more. We need to dive a little bit more into the security piece of Windows 11. Okay, so Windows 11 is really what you need now to make yourself a secure workplace, okay? And I want to talk about these TPM chips, okay? If you don't have a TPM chip, if you don't have TPM hardware, you can't use Windows 11, okay? So you're buying computer hardware this year, make sure you have TPM chips. Make sure you ask, is this Windows 11 compatible? Make sure that you know before you move forward with anything else, okay? You may have a TPM chip, you may have TPM firmware that you can enable. You need to make sure you have that before you move forward with hardware. If you still have old hardware that you want to keep using, this doesn't mean that you can't use it in your environment. You'll be able to use Windows 11 and Windows 10 together in the same environments. However, I would not buy old hardware this year that does not allow for Windows 11 compatibility, having a TPM chip. Those types of things are gone. We need to make sure that we don't have those in our purchasing. So if you're out there, you're purchasing new hardware, make sure it's Windows 11 compatible, or if you can get a TPM chip to come along with that, that's also going to be an option later in the year where you'll be able to add the TPM chip to your existing hardware and upgrade it and make it Windows 11 compatible as well. Though not all hardware is going to be Windows 11 compatible. So keep that in mind, especially if you're buying refurbished or used hardware out there. I don't particularly love refurbished hardware or anything used because of these types of scenarios. But if that's your budget or if that's what you're doing, you want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into and that what you're attaching it to is going to be able to serve you for the long run, okay? So just remember, Windows 11 really doesn't care so much about the type of TPM chip that you're using. There's a lot out there, okay? Just so long as it adheres to the TPM 2.0 standard, okay? And there's a lot of different technical things that go into that. Coordinate with your IT service provider. They're the ones that are really going to know this information. This is what we do here at Astoria. Let us help you get to that next level with Windows 11. Now with that, I want to turn it over to our panelists. We're going to talk a little bit more with them about Windows 11 and what it looks like and why you need to have Windows 11 to move forward with your security here in 2022. John from JH Technology, can you tell us a little bit why someone should upgrade to Windows 11?
You know, if you want to be on the forefront of technology, Windows 11 would be the next step forward in the Windows operating systems. It is, from what little bit I've played with it, it's very much like a Mac or your PC, or sorry, Mac or your tablet or your phone even. It's bringing all the same type of feel to your desktop now. Windows 11, in my opinion, graphically looks a little bit better. I know some people are stuck with the traditional start button menu taskbar, but I personally, what little I've played with it, I like it.
So do you agree that Windows 11 is going to be more secure?
I can tell you from what other people I've been researching and reading, is based off of Windows 10, which Windows 10, the background with that, especially with Windows Defender now, it's becoming a very secure environment.
I want to thank our panelists for being with us today. Hey, this has been great. The Astoria TechCast, now out every week. You are going to talk about the things that matter to your business, and we're going to help you navigate the complicated landscape that is cybersecurity, that is technology now in the 2022 year. How are you going to do that? Check out our website, trustastoria.com. I encourage you to schedule an appointment with myself or one of our trusted partners here at Astoria so we can help implement the cybersecurity things that you need for your business. It's complicated, it's scary, it's just unknown. At Astoria, we want to protect your network like a hawk. So when you trust Astoria with your technology, we know the things that are going to happen, and we put a plan in place before it even happens. So check out our website, trustastoria.com. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, and YouTube, where we have all of this great content available for you to just subscribe to and listen to, but also to help you have a better experience with the technology you have so that it always works as expected.